Aromatically speaking, channel number 2, Smell It Sunday. Happy Sunday, everybody. This is a show. This is a show that goes out live. It's a live stream. It's not broadcasted. It's streamed. And we talk about, what do we talk about? I think after all this time, it's almost been a full year now. It's been over a year. Way over a year, actually. We've been doing these lives, and we talk about all the things that all the common interests that we have, but we talk about candles. Anne-Marie is a huge candle aficionado. I can say that for sure. Nancy's in the house. Let me pull you guys up down here so I don't have to look right into the camera, but happy to have everybody. And I know there might be some new folks in town, new folks tuning in, and welcome. If you see my normal videos, for the exception of my unicorn poop video by Crinkle Candle or Country Candle, they usually have good, decent quality. These lives, on the other hand, have a tendency to go haywire. We lose cellular service. I don't have the option of editing. You never know what's going to happen. But I wanted to go live on my main channel. If you missed my quick live on the Candle Enthusiast, the main channel, I just wanted to announce the giveaway that I proposed last weekend. So make sure you go participate. Go to the Candle Enthusiast if you haven't participated. I briefly explained the details. I wrote the details in the description of the video. What 90s song was I listening to that shares a word, a noun to be more specific, with the Yankee Candle? It's a very weird trivia question, but I couldn't think of another way to give away this particular candle. And I want to start doing more giveaways. I'm going to be doing giveaways for the rest of the summer here on this channel, on my main channel. But we're going to try to keep this a regular thing, because as time goes on, I've noticed how gracious a lot of, I see somebody here, Danny D, I'm a newbie to your channel. I can't read the rest because it's showing me just a preview. But Danny D, welcome, and glad to have you with us. What was I saying? A lot of people have been graciously sending me wonderful, not just gifts, but items for me to repost on the Candle Enthusiast eBay page to help fund adventures, trips, destinations for the upcoming seasons. And I'm touched, I'm humbled, and I really feel like it's time that I give back in the form of wax. So I see a lot of you have already posted comments. Keep them coming. But let's start this live show. Where are you guys? I gotta pull you up. The thumbnail is pretty terrible. The lighting you think would be great, but it's not. But I'm okay with it. You know, it's like, why can't I have a light set up here and it still looks dark? Anyway, let's hope we don't deal with the issues that we had last week. So I promised I was going to be showing you a lot of candles, so let's jump right into it. I see that we have a lot of people in the house. I see that we have someone very special in the house. It says, driving right now. Aaron, will be very careful if you're driving. But I think you're going to want to see some of the things I'm going to be showing in just a little bit. So yes, like I said, I've received recently not only just random products like I usually do. These are things that I buy. These are things that folks send me. These are candle companies. It seems like this time of year they start to really reach out and they want me to evaluate their products, which is super cool. So I definitely I want to highlight these new candle companies, share my thoughts, do a little quick collaboration, and I have a bunch of collaborations with some small and actually some pretty large candle companies coming up in the near future. But I'm gonna start with this box down here. Let's put these aside. Elsa's on the table. Could you move? You don't want to move? Okay. Well, sit there. I don't want to bother you, but I do need to put this on the table. I do have a little bit of coffee today in my Charlie Brown mug. I have to start segueing into, you know, the autumn season. I'm still celebrating summer, but I know a lot of you guys are just all about autumn already, which is great. So I feel like this is a happy medium. It kind of reminds you of It's the Great Pumpkin, but not really. What I really want is some water. So I gotta keep hydrated these days. Oh yeah. The power of water. Really, I'm telling you. Ever since I've I've had a water uptake in my life. I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it. Okay, so here we go. Again, I've had these boxes in my office. My office is going under major reconstruction. I told you that. A lot of people, you may not know what that means. Reconstruction. What are you moving the furniture around? There's a lot going on there, and I'm doing it all myself. It's not just rearranging the furniture. I'm trying to make it a much more appropriate place for us to hang out while doing lives, while filming candle evaluations, and when I briefly mentioned a couple times about this channel becoming a little bit more nostalgia based, doing a little bit more, focusing on more retro concepts, whether they be products, items, ideas, concepts. Try to think about things in our past that we miss and that we appreciate and that we want to celebrate. I have a bunch of candles selling right now on eBay, folks, that are going for an extremely low cost. I had Coconut Splash just sell for $9.99. That is a Europe exclusive. You cannot buy that in the United States. So that is just a testament that things do go for very, very affordable prices on eBay, on the Candle Enthusiast page. So, what was I saying? In my office, I've had these boxes. I was waiting for the right time. I was thinking about doing it last week, but my candles were physically, literally melting in the heat while doing my live last week, so I couldn't do it. But 2 nights ago, I sat down and I filmed an unboxing of a couple of these boxes. And I said, you know what? These are too good to just film a video. I need to do this live. Because it's a little bit more exciting, I think, for those of you joining in. Wow, we got some good amount of people with us today. All right, so do you guys want to see some relics? I'm not talking about. We're talking about relics of Yankee Candle's history, and this is going to be informative too, which is what I love. I love when we can get scientific. But in these boxes, these were all donated to the Candle Enthusiast channel for my own personal collection, for eBay sales, for whatever reason this person said, for whatever reason you see fit. So some of these might end up on eBay. Some of them will end up on eBay for you guys to get to have a chance to put them in your collection. But some of them will be proudly displayed in my own personal collection for the rest of my life. That is for sure. And I hope this, if anything, gets you guys excited about vintage Yankee Candle. I've been focusing on this now for a couple months, and I think today will really, hopefully this is a testament to why I've been doing this. I'll explain further as we start breaking this out. So here we go. These are all donated. This first candle right here, we could see is a black band. Look at this. Eric says buying relics in the heat of the summer is bold. That's right. That's probably why none of these will be posted um, um, until it's very safe. And if you're purchasing through my eBay page, Eric brings up a good point. If you're purchasing through my eBay page and you're in the US, I ship everything priority. I never ship anything first class. So you get your items quickly, right? Quickly. And so keep that in mind. We have a black band, a very vibrant, very saturated yellow color. Can anyone tell me what this candle might be? Well, I'm going to show you. Underneath here, we do have a barcode. This tells us a little bit. This narrows down the age of this candle a little bit. This is late 90s, early 2000s, a black band jar. Jared says sunflower, and Cookie Hill's in the house. Sunflower is a great guess based on that color, because this is not the color this candle appears in today. Here it comes, folks. Speaking of Cookie Hill, we have Christmas cookie, folks, in the house warmer jar. Our family says, hi Shane, popped in to grab some gear, saw you were live. We'll catch this post and we'll check your stock later. Have a happy weekend. Our family, thank you for stopping in, and thank you for, if you want to pop in later, pop in later. This video will be uploaded for everyone to watch. Christmas cookie. This is one that is a favorite of mine. I do have this in a full unlit house warmer. You can see this was lit maybe once, twice. There's a little bit of tunneling issues. I swear to you that I've perfected, I've perfected how to fix this issue, not only aesthetically but to make them burn beautifully, and that's going to be really important for this. Why? Because this smells so incredibly good, guys. Come on. Let's just say this is the oldest this could be is 14 years old. That's the oldest, or excuse me, this is the youngest it could be, 14 years old. And this smells fantastic. Fantastic. So when I say investing in vintage Yankee candles, I really, really mean it, because this is a fragrance, when you smell it brand new, you might think, you know, that one probably will fade in a year or two. We're looking at something that's at least 14 years old. And it smells not only completely accurate to a brand new Christmas cookie, but it's very strong, very concentrated, and it looks awesome. We have the full label that we know and love. Black band, it's almost full. I do have a full one of these. So this very might well pop up on the official Candle Enthusiast eBay page to help fund the channel at a future date as we approach the holiday season. So if you want this candle, make sure you go to the eBay seller page is Aromatic Adventures. Make sure you follow that seller. This way you'll be notified when things pop up. I have a second appearance of the Witch's Brew, a 19-year-old Witch's Brew that's going up on eBay. I'm not going to say when, but it's going up very soon, and it's not going to be a 7-day auction. It's going to be a very short auction. That's my way of getting you guys over there and to follow that eBay page. But look at that. I got to keep moving, but holy moly. You know, I love collecting black bands that are fragrances that are staples, that have been around a long time or very successful, and this candle fits both of those categories. Christmas cookie. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit. We're gonna bring that back. So I have something else I want to address about that, but I want to show you some other candles. Now, all of these look like they have been lit, and a little bit of smearing going on. Now, if this happens to you, this can happen if your Yankee Candle is laid on its side, or if you have it shipped in heat. Anyone who just got unicorn poop by Country Candle in the mail, I'm not making that up. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Kringle Candle had a limited edition candle called Unicorn Poop, and it was filled with oils, a lot of oils. And this does happen with heat, but it's okay. That is perfectly fine. This will wipe off, and you can clean that up. But we have Midsummer's Night. I always want to say Midsummer Night's Dream. I apologize. It's a little bit, I'm a little bit too much of a Shakespeare fan to not say that. And yes, I'm telling you, this really is one that I've been wanting to buy, because again, this fragrance goes back all the way to the early 80s. This is not something that is new, this fragrance. This is not something that popped up in the 90s. You know, this candle is like 14 years older than Balsam and Cedar, and Balsam and Cedar is Yankee Candle's most popular fragrance. This has been around forever. It's that classic masculine, cologne-driven, nighttime, summertime Yankee Candle fragrance. It's really how Yankee Candle has always defined the aroma of the evening. With a little bit of that masculinity. You have those, not pungent, but definitely high intensity flowers. Some herbs and spices. Very clean. And if you're wondering, this, I've got little to no age on it, meaning I'm not detecting any kind of anything in this candle that would make me say, wow, that's kind of an old candle. If you're wondering if I'm detecting anything on this candle that makes me say, that smells like an old candle, maybe the most minute amount. But really, that could just be the surface. That could just be what's going on top. Once I fix all of these little issues here and burn it down just a little bit, I bet you everything that's locked in this block of wax underneath is just fine. And you can still see, you still see puddles and avenues and fissures of oils just congregating in there. I'm not one of those folks who say, like, Yankee Candle used to make candles 20 times better than they used to, and I don't buy Yankee Candles, contemporary Yankee Candles anymore because they're no good. I still buy Yankee Candle contemporary candles, but there is no question from my experience. This is my opinion, my experience. Vintage Yankee Candles not only hold up better, but holy moly, are they intense. I mean, you can only imagine what these would smell like brand new. Now, as you can see, here's some clues for you. This one here contains the SKU number. This label's a little bit strange to me. I don't know what happened here. It's not wiped off. Maybe it was purposely not put there because this maybe was sent to a non-Yankee Candle retail so that the store could put on their own SKU number. So it's hard for me to identify how old this is, but I would say this is somewhere around the same age, late 90s. When you talk about the really early house warmer jars, they don't have this right on the bottom here, our strongest scented candle. It'll just say house warmer, and it won't have the little reserved, the R or the circle. It'll just say house warmer. Those are the oldest house warmers that there are. That's why when you go on eBay and you see these crazy, I don't want to call them crazy because I've sold candles for large amounts of money, but at least they were funding the channel. But you see these folks selling candles for like $400, $2,000. The reason why they're selling those at such a high cost is because most likely it just says house warmer on the bottom of the jar. And that does let you know that those were the very, very first Apothecary house warmer line candles. Now, house warmers, or excuse me, Apothecary jars, long predated black bands. And I'll prove this to you right now. The house warmer line popped up in 1995. There are some exceptions. But for the most part, the house warmer line with the black bands, house warmer here, full picture, 1995. That's when they first popped up. But if we go back to 1983, we saw different kinds of Apothecary jars. We saw things called bath brights, which were candles that came in glass that were meant for, I'm guessing, your bathroom. We saw some other ornate glasses. There was one called Zanzibar, which is really strange. We saw ones that had frosted glass, but by far the most. And then we had the not the tin cans, but the aluminum cans called cannikins in the very early days. But some of the earliest Apothecary jar candles looked like this. Now, to many, now a lot of you guys, this might be redundant because I'm talking about these all the times. You may have seen some of my earlier videos where I talked about the timeline of these videos. When we see the Country Kitchen, Yankee Candle Country Kitchen label, I don't blame you if you think that this is like, wait a minute, I've seen those in outlets. At many different stages throughout Yankees history, they've re-released in homage to the original Yankee Candle Apothecary jars. They've released Country Kitchen candle jars, right? And but this is what they appeared, the first Apothecary jar of this aesthetic. This is what it appeared as, and they were just one jar, and all they did to list the fragrance is put a little white sticker there. You can see this one's ripped, but it clearly says Wild Strawberry. This is old, folks. No SKU number here. This predates SKU numbers. This was before the days where you're like, beep, you know, no. This is a mid-1980s Yankee Candle, Wild Strawberry. Eric says, yeah, I had my first Yankee Candle when I got my apartment in 1996. And what's amazing about this gift, a little bit of residue there, not a big deal at all. Guys, this is unlit. This is a brand new mid to early 80s Yankee Candle that does not exist or hasn't been poured. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But I mean, we all know sweet strawberry. But when's the last time you saw a Yankee Candle called Wild Strawberry? And this is so incredibly intense, and it's juicy. Not just the smell, but the oils, man. It's not because it's hot. There's just oils galore in here. If you guys want a better description of the smell, I mean, this does smell like sweet strawberry, but there's strawberry here in many different facets. You know, I love candy. Well, I don't love candy, but I like using candy. I love candy, but I love using candy as a descriptor because it helps us communicate, right? It helps you understand what I'm talking about. This has a very candy-esque strawberry smell. However, it has a very authentic strawberry smell too. So in two different forms. You're strawberry picking, it's summertime, you're out there, you're picking strawberries from the bushes, Little Red Riding Hood style. You got a basket full of strawberries. We had a strawberry farm right next to my apartment in Napa Valley. And you'd get them in a little brown bag when you pick them up. And by the time you got home, it looked like you were holding a human heart inside of a brown bag because they were so juicy that the red juice from the strawberries were leaking through the brown paper bag that they gave you. So super fresh, ripe strawberries. However, we're dealing with more than just that. We're dealing with a very concentrated, cooked down strawberry smell as well. You name it, strawberry shortcake, like a strawberry compote, strawberry syrup. I hop all of the way. We're getting back a little bit into candy when I say syrup, but this is a concentrated cooked down strawberry aroma as well. So we have the real authentic fresh strawberry, the tartness, the brightness, the sweetness, but we also have that concentrated strawberry and the super candy-esque form of strawberry. And when it comes to intensity, how much more can you ask for than this? When it comes to the country candles too, another little tip, if you find these, if you find one of these, God, man, if you find one of these in like a thrift store, you just grab it. But when you see them with this on the back, this is going to give you another clue that it's a little bit older, because later nated this portion on the back and put all of the burning instructions on the sticker. Really, this is just a repeat of what this says down here, but this does help you identify how old it is. And so I know this is not late 80s. This would be mid to no earlier than 83, but no later than say 86. So we have Wild Strawberry, Country Candle, Yankee Candle. And guys, do you want this? Does anybody want? You can't. You can't. This one will be proudly displayed. And I'm not sure if the person who sent these, Cookie Hill says strawberry cobbler. You better believe it. You burn this with something that's got like some soft cinnamon sugar, and you know, something that reminds you of like bakery, a pie crust kind of aroma, and you got yourself some crazy aromatic in your homestead. It feels like a lot of these earlier candles, they were kind of meant for that, right? Especially the country kitchen. Again, country kitchen implying that, you know, this would be like you jarred a bunch of strawberries and you put them in your fruit cellar or in your pantry. They're unadulterated fragrances. They're not wild mixtures. So if you took something like this, like I said, and you mixed it with something that had a little bit more spices, something a little bit more autumnal, you could do a little bit of mixology, but this one will not be burned. This one will not be burned. Let's keep this going. Let me read some of your comments here, though. Carol, great comment. Carol Lang says the plastic ring, she's referring to this thing right here, this little plastic ring. They can be completely replaced, but I like what Carol's saying here. The ring can be pulled off the cap, and for washing of the oils, if desired, just pry it off, but it will likely stay color stained. That, from my experience, that is completely true, because the dye in the candles are so strong that they actually penetrate the plastic. So if it really bothers you, it'll come off the glass, but if it really bothers you, if this happens to you, you can like stock order these lids, bulk order, not stock order, bulk order these lids and replace them. It doesn't bother me that much. It really doesn't. It's surprising though, because I am OCD. Nancy goes, no, that's some strawberries. You better believe it. My aunt would always have those, says Jared. Strawberry cobbler. First Yankee Candle, 1998 gingerbread, mom's apple pie, and cinnamon bun. Says Laura, she looks like she's, oh, that was your first, was 1980, 1990. I'm guessing that's what you were saying. I wonder if did that have the little gingerbread people on it? Because I just got that one for my collection. And I absolutely love that label. um, Jared, the raisin bread. I'm not gonna do my French pronunciation for you, but uh, I think you're referring to that was your first, or maybe it's your favorite. Anthony from Candle Cafe sent me that tart for evaluation, and I had to cut it out because the dang lawnmowers. So here's the thing. No lawnmowers today, right? But every time I try to film something to edit, there's chainsaws, there's garbage trucks, there's lawnmowers, there's weed whackers, there's Harley Davidsons, and it's super quiet and beautiful today. Always my luck, Nancy. Strawberry rhubarb. And Laura is confirming, yes, super cute label. Shane, what are the jars with the oval labels? This right here that you could buy Yankee Candles in the early 80s. The Country Kitchen. First large jar for me was Midsummer Night. So I guess that's what you guys are talking about. What was my first large jar? Guys, I can't remember. If you ever see my aunt Margaret, her name is Margaret Carlson. It's Margaret Califa. I apologize. I mean, I know her name, but in the Candle Enthusiast Facebook fan group, if you're not a part of this fan group experience, this family of positivity and positively fun group of people, go over and make sure you request, as long as you consider yourself a kind and respectable person, which I'm sure you do. But if you ever see Margaret Califoot, she is indeed she's my father's sister. And I have to say, I think I really owe Margaret, um, when it comes to Yankee Candle, she's the one who introduced me, because, you know, during the holidays when I was a young kid, I'd go over to play with my cousins, and her house would always smell like fresh baked apple pies and spiced pumpkins. Eric Peter Carlson from the EPC family is in the house, and he's saying that red velvet cake was his first Yankee Candle, and I can confirm that, and I can also confirm that I had to do a little bit convincing to convince my brother Eric Peter Carlson. I had to convince him a little bit about the whole Yankee Candle thing, because when I started really getting back into Yankee Candles, he's like, "Whoa, what's going on with this candle thing? Like, aren't you wine?" But I think I took one trip to the Yankee Candle Village, and he was hooked. Quick shout out to Eric Peter Carlson. He's been killing it right now with these Disneyland vlogs. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, he's a legit filmmaker, so I'm not surprised on the quality of his vlogs. But if anyone's a Disney fan, just do yourself a favor. This is not even a plug. This is just me recommending something to you. Eric Peter Carlson, YouTube channel, EPC for short. It's like being able to visit Disneyland every day of your life in the comfort of your own home. Very proud of him, and a very happy belated birthday to Eric Carlson. And it looks like Nancy beat me to that happy belated birthday. So, yeah, Margaret Califoot. I don't think she's listening, but she is in the Facebook fan group. I don't know what was my first large jar. I really don't. I remember, after years and years of not purchasing Yankee Candles, getting Witch's Brew. I think that's what got me back into it. This one, literally, last week I was gonna buy on eBay, because again, this is a staple fragrance, a fragrance that's been around, you better believe it, at least since 1983. I have a feeling this candle actually goes back to the 70s, in the earliest days of the company's history. And wait till you see the label of this candle compared to what it is now. Home Sweet Home. We all know this candle, but look at the label here. You can clearly tell to portray with this label. We see balls of yarn. We see little, what do you call those needle pillows? We stick the little needles in the pillow. What do you call it? I don't know. But just a bunch of sewing material. So apparently Home Sweet Home means you're going home to visit Ma or Grandma, who's gonna be knitting you sweaters and scarves. Very interesting, very vintage label for pincushions. Thank you, Laura, for this classic, and thank you, Mark, also for correcting me. Classic label. Again, these were all donated to the candle enthusiast cause. How's the resolution? I hope it's okay. When it uploads, it'll be better. And it smells fantastic. I mean, monstrous baking spices. I mean, I'm not gonna do an in-depth analysis, but I've come to realize that all of us describe the experience of cinnamon differently. I'm very sensitive. I've heard people say red hot cinnamon. I've heard people say, like, use certain varieties of cinnamon, like, excuse me, Saigon cinnamon. Saigon cinnamon is very spicy. And then, ironically, we actually don't even have much cinnamon in the United States. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but the real name of the bark that we use, that we call cinnamon, is cassia, or cassia, and it comes in many different varieties. And this, to me, is super spicy. Spicy in that it smells like an atomic fireball. This is a candle that's strong enough still, but if you buy it today, it's still very strong. I probably won't light something like this. I'll take this off. Maybe I have an oscillating fan going on my desk, and that's all I need to do. I don't even need to burn this, because if I burn this in my office, I mean, it's gonna smell like I put like 5 atomic fireballs in a microwave and set it for an hour and left it. They're gonna explode, they're gonna melt, and it's gonna be an atomic fireball situation in my office. So very powerful candle, but definitely this is a staple, an institution. It's not an institution, that doesn't make sense, but it's a staple of the Yankee Candle history. Elsa, do you have to sit? She's sitting right on my MacBook. She does like the candles. She doesn't seem to have a problem. Let's see if she likes Home Sweet Home. Are you interested in that smell? Does that smell intrigue you? You don't seem intrigued. Her favorite is Meadow Showers. That one she just could not get enough of. But right now, she's in like nap time mode. She's like kind of like, leave me alone. Yeah, she's going back to sleep. All right, let's keep it going, folks. We got a lot of these to go through, and then we're gonna open up. Some mystery boxes as well. If anyone doesn't know, that is Elsa. That is Elsa, my teacup Maltese. She just celebrated her first birthday. She just got tresemade, taking a bath, but she got a bath. And she's starting to look good again, because I had to give her a really big haircut, because she's getting a lot of knots. And she's starting to grow out again, and the hair is getting in front of her eyes. I like her to look shaggy. But follow her on Instagram, because she gets upset that I don't plug her as much as I should. She's on Instagram as at Queen of the Snowflakes. And what's fun about that Instagram page, I put a lot of Easter eggs on that page. So if you ever want to know like what I'm doing in a week or so, that's a great way to find out. I put little Easter eggs in there. So those of you who are really curious what's coming up down the path. Now here's one that speaks to me. We have another country kitchen label. No bottom sticker here, so very hard for me to determine how old this one is. Does anyone want to take a guess? Well, I'm just gonna tell you, hazelnut coffee. And good gracious, just people still guessing. Well, it's just great. They're still guessing for the giveaway, the Yankee Candle giveaway on the other channel. Someone just guessed smells like teen spirit. Spirit. Well, I guess I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's spirit in the name of one Yankee Candle. But I'm sure teen and smells is not a noun. That's funny. That's really funny. I'm gonna have a blast looking through those guesses. But hazelnut coffee, I want to speed this up a little bit, but hazelnut coffee, this is held up awesomely. This is raw, unroasted, raw, even some walnut pecan action. Really, really aggressive nuttiness here. And I'm always talking about how coffee kind of crosses that line when it comes to candles, not just Yankee Candle, but it crosses that line of chocolate and espresso bean. And this is no exception. You know, to me, this still smells like a mocha coffee because you do get that espresso bean, you get the nuttiness from the hazelnut, which reminds you of lighter roast coffees. Lighter roast coffees do have more nuttiness, but you do get the darker espresso bean, robust flavor. But it's also chocolate, like baker's chocolate, like dark chocolate, and very creamy and sweet too. Weirdly, I'm picking up on like a coconut thing. I'm sure that's not in there, but it's kind of maybe how this handles. And oh, I have to plug my phone in. I don't want our battery to die. Okay, we should be charging now. But yeah, this is hardly lit, and I don't have a new one. I don't have contemporary hazelnut coffee. I don't have a black band. This is my first one ever, and I'm very happy with it. Super happy with it. Very hard to get for me because I am a coffee purist. I drink my coffee black. Apparently, Witch City Wicks is coffee, fresh coffee, dark coffee. Sorry, Liz, I can't remember the name, but it is a dark black coffee smell. That doesn't mean you can't burn something with it to sweeten it up, but that doesn't mean, because I like black coffee, doesn't mean I enjoy something like this. Large, unlit black band of this candle. So this one will probably be a great candidate for going up on eBay. Again, to fund the show, especially for our Christmas events coming up this season. But check this label out. A lot of people are not familiar with this label. This is yet again another classic oldie. I don't know when this fragrance was originally released. Wasn't in the early 80s, but Home for the Holidays. I think this would have popped up around the 1988, 87, 89, something like that. There was a label, that's label. It looked like a close-up of a Christmas tree with a bunch of ornaments and garland. And then, of course, today we know the fragrance, or we know the label. It's the teddy bear. What else do we have? We have the rocking chair pony by the fireplace. Is there a wooden soldier? There probably is. And then with the newest label, they've cropped it, so we lose a lot of that living room for that label. But this was always my favorite Home for the Holidays label. It's hard to see, but we have this evening panoramic shot of a New England home. We have the moonlight, that blue moonlight that's hitting the roof of the house, and we have this uplighting uplighting, right? That very warm uplighting that hits the house, Christmas wreath, icicles, the front door, all of the trees in the front yard, home for the holidays. And yes, this is also another like spiced apple, baking spice, spiced goods, uh, mom's spice cabinet, grandma's spice cabinet, but a much bigger concoction of baking spices than something like home for the holidays. You know, a little bit of, I don't want to say chai tea. Well, you know, I'm going to say chai tea, if you don't mind. Um, so maybe some star anise and clove in there. But definitely you're getting that apple, that apple. So for me, whether that be a tray of baked apples or a tray baked apples and maybe some apples, some spiced apple cider on the side. Definitely a smell that's synonymous with Christmas. I have that in a full jar, so that will hopefully be going to a good home, someone who could really use that candle. And let me plug something on my main channel. I posted my review on country candles or Kringle candles, unicorn poop last night. I'm not making that up. There it is. This was a limited edition of several thousand, and it's not for sale anymore. They really did sell out. Mixed reactions, I think, across the board for people. My evaluation was quite lengthy. If you're interested in this candle, or if you have it, or if you'd like to see it come back, I'd recommend checking out my evaluation, because I spent a little extra time digging in deep to really share what I think is going on inside this. Tons of wind and like kids playing in pools. The highway that's way up there. So I had to like try to fix the audio and it sounds terrible. But the review is on the main channel. Check it out if you're interested. It's one of these situations. This is my consensus. If you purchased it, cool. It's probably a cool thing that you purchased it. If you didn't purchase it, no big loss. That's kind of that's how I see it, my consensus. A future video coming up. Something I tried to do a long time ago, and I had to cancel it in mid-live video because I bought tarts of this fragrance right here, Splash of Rain. You can see this is one that appears in a black band, but look, this one I purchased, but look at the color of this wax. Really? Why is this so different? This turquoise color, like it's almost translucent, and it smells incredible. This is definitely a post-millennium candle, but man, that smells amazing, and the color of the wax is outstanding. But I do have a full video of this where it's going to be kind of fun because I have something to go along with this, a little experiment. I wanted to do that back in the spring, but it's coming up. It's coming up. Once that office gets done, folks. All right, we're going to speed this up. We're going to speed this up because we've got to open up some boxes. Black band. How many folks are from this right here? Can you see that? Can you read that? On my screen, it's very blurry. I don't know if that's my poor service or if it's the weak signal that we have, but this is a black band. Good afternoon, Lori. How you doing? This is a raspberry black band candle, not raspberry sorbet. That's a straight up raspberry candle. And I have to be honest, I don't know if I'm even familiar with this. And I smelled it. And guess what? It smells like raspberry. And to be perfectly fair, it's kind of borderlines that fruit leather smell. So I don't want to just jump to say something like fruit roll-ups. I'll say fruit leather. So I'm not always mentioning candy. And you know, it's not like a straight up fruit fragrance. There is something going on in the background that gives you, I don't want to say necessarily herbaceousness, but a little bit more of this kind of like um, you know, raspberry is just one of those fruits that can smell slightly musky. I mentioned this in my unicorn review that pears have that very fragrant skin. Macintosh apples have a very fragrant skin. And raspberries can have that very fragrant, musky, not like masculine. I'm talking about fruit musk, baby. It can have that very fragrant smell, and there's something going on there that's giving it that. And if I'm not mistaken, I do see some fresh mint leaves on the label. I don't know if I necessarily pick that up, but that smelling. That is an awesome. That's awesome. I didn't even know that one existed. I'm gonna save that one for last. This is my third black band mistletoe. One got shattered in the mail. One is in my collection that I lit live on a previous video. This one here has been lit maybe once or twice, couple times, 3 times maybe. But I think this finally is confirmation. If you guys don't know, mistletoe is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Christmas fragrance. But although this smells great, I smell mistletoe. I smell one of my favorite Christmas Yankee Candles in here. I can confirm after smelling 3 black bands now that this one does tend to show age after time. I can't say that about a lot of these black bands, but smelling now 3 black band mistletoes, they all have this very not peculiar. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. This is a very old candle, but it smells like you have. I'm always saying mistletoe smells like you're pulling out your Christmas decorations from the year before. You guys are probably going to strangle me because I'm always saying this. You're pulling out those boxes, those cardboard boxes of all of your Christmas decorations from the year before. And inside those boxes are pine needles from your tree or Christmas wreath from the year prior. And they've been sitting in those boxes all year long, maybe roasting in the attic or roasting in the shed or just roasting in the closet, but they've had a chance to concentrate. So you have those smell of those year-old pine needles. To me, that's what mistletoe is all about. But what this older mistletoe smells like is like you're storing those boxes in the basement. There's a little bit of a basement. Not musky with the K, but musty with the T. There's a little bit of a mustiness to this candle, which is interesting in its own way. That intrigues me. It may not intrigue a lot of folks, but that does intrigue me. Again, I mean, I would buy something like this for more of the collectability rather than to burn. But I do have to say, out of all of these candles that we're looking at, this one is probably the one that shows signs of a good percentage of aging. Like, you know, it just hasn't held up throughout the years. And speaking of that, let's talk about a very important topic. A lot of people, I try to always exclude myself out of these conversations because I'm very opinionated when it comes to these things. But a lot of people will tell you, let's say if you're a new Yankee Candle fan, a lot of people will tell you that Yankee Candles are just not made the way they used to. That I would agree with, right? Because the industry, the procedures, the ingredients, everything has become healthier, right? Things have changed. The company has grown, so I'm sure they've cut costs here and there. But that doesn't, all of those things don't equate to negative things. A growth of a company and, you know, can mean, okay, a healthier product. Could also mean higher quality products. But when it comes to ageability, and I know that's not a word, but it is a word I use all of the time when you're talking about wine. And there's so many connections, so many things that are similar in the world of wine and candles. So we talked about this Christmas cookie, which was we narrowed it down. We said somewhere between 98 to 2004, right? Black band, and it smelled great. This is held up at least 97% in my opinion. But now we have a candle. Now this doesn't look that old because we have what we recognize as the not a label that's not that old. You know, this was we only got our new labels, the ones our narrow labels in 2000. God, it was 2016. It seems like it was a whole lot longer than that. But this candle is from 2008, right there. I don't know if you're definitely not going to be able to see that, but this candle is from 2008, so it does have age to it. It's not that much younger than this candle. So I don't know the history, right? I don't know where in the world has this candle traveled. What has it been subjected to? I don't know. Same thing for this candle. These were both given to me as gifts. But I will say, like I said, 97%. Woo, yeah. That smells brand new, baby. That smells brand new. Here's a candle from 2008, same fragrance. I smell Christmas cookie, but it has diminished. The notes kind of, you know, just kind of like shriveled, like a nice plump grape into a raisin. So I don't want to say that this candle was made better than this candle. I mean, that could very well be the truth. This candle might have been, it's not an outlet candle. It could have been subjected to extreme heat. It could have been subjected to sunlight, humidity. We do not know the story behind this candle. But take it for what you will. This candle that is clearly older than this candle smells a whole lot better than this candle right here. So when I said that I was going to give you a little explanation why I think it's worth investing in Yankee Candle black bands, not in everything that you buy, but things that, like, you know, that you want to put in your collection, that are staples, fragrances that are staples of your life, you know, fragrances that represent you, the ones that are very important to you, ones that you want to you know, maybe you'll burn this over the course of many years, right? I definitely think if you have a fragrance that you absolutely love and it is available in a black band, I'm not saying it's 100% certain, because you can see the mistletoe has degraded in time, but for the most part, a lot of the black bands, a lot of the 80s candles with the country kitchen labels, they have stood the test of time. So I'm going to give you the go-ahead. I'm going to say, you know, put the chips on the table, take the risk, invest in a black band, because a lot of the black bands too, you'll find candles like Fireside, Country Heather, Bay Breeze. The list goes on. I don't want to spend all day just. I can't think of any more off the top of my head. But those are three I can confirm that, yeah, the recipe has changed a little bit over time. Or maybe it's not the recipe, but an older version of that candle smells a little bit more complex than a contemporary one. So take all that information, take it for what you will. Black bands. Leave it in the comments below if you're watching this video later or when this video uploads. would you invest in black bands? Like, you could go out right now, buy this probably with a coupon. You could probably pick this up, I don't know, at a retail store, $15, $12, at an outlet, 10 or less. Or you can probably spend 35 with plus shipping to get this candle and have one that not only looks fantastic, but you know is a completely different candle. And I've burned them and they smell intense. So what's your thought? I've asked kind of a lot of questions there. I'm just trying to draw attention to black bands because my fear is that there's a lot of people out there in the world that probably have things like this in their closets. Be like, oh, remember back in Christmas '97, we bought this. We never really burned it. Well, we might as well throw it in the garbage because it can't possibly be good anymore. I have a fear that people are doing that. They're throwing these away. So what I want, instead of them to disappear, I want Yankee Candle lovers to get their hands on them, start burning them, start talking about them. And at the same time, I want to build up my collection a little bit. And since there's nobody who claims to be a Yankee Candle historian, I'm going to do what I can to try to collect as much information about the company's history. And I have a lot of great people that I've met throughout the past 2 years who've helped me out, mainly the folks at the Yankee Candle Village, and a lot of you folks as well. You know who you are. You know who you are. So very cool. We have other stuff to do, guys. All right, so I'm gonna push all of these out of the way. Thank God it's not tremendously hot, because it would be really upsetting to see these candles in extreme heat. I don't know what I'm opening. Actually, I know what this one is. Are these all, okay, these are from the same. These are from the same, those two are from the same person. This one is not. This one is coming from all the way from Illinois. Most likely this is something that I purchased. I might have a guess to what this is. What black band? What black band? Even if it never was made in a black band, which one would you personally want the most? I'll try to keep my eyes on the descriptions here. So I'm gonna mention, Lori C says, bands, I would not invest in one because I burn all my candles and don't collect them. That's a great point. That is a really great point. And thank you for bringing that up because I should have brought that up myself. And although I think that's awesome and I have absolutely nothing wrong with that, I just simply am not one of those kind of Yankee Candle people. I'm not one of those candle people. I'm one of those people who will burn a candle once, put it back on my shelf, and I won't touch it for another 3 years. So I do not burn through my candles. It's another reason why I love Yankee Candle paraffin. And I really don't, I haven't, even though I have purchased the soy blend tumblers, though I think the soy blend tumblers are for those of you guys who really want very powerful fragrance. And you just want to rip through that candle, right? You want to rip through it. You want the big, bombastic, super huge aroma, because that candle will melt fast. And as long as you keep the flames low, it'll output a lot of fragrance. But I like to slow burn my candles. I like them to last. And there's no right or wrong here. I just think that two different mentalities. There's a lot of candles in my collection. Who was it who said that? Lori C. There's a lot of candles in my collection I don't burn because I wouldn't want to burn them. I wouldn't like to burn them because the smells aren't right. But that doesn't mean I don't like to just break them off the shelf and smell them occasionally. Because I think my fascination lies, or lays. My fascination lies in aroma, even more than just candles. Candles, I think, are just a great way to capture. It's like capturing an image in a bottle. It's like lightning in a bottle. It's like capturing lightning flies in a bottle. Whatever you want to, however you want to describe it. To me, it's a way to revisit an aroma, to capture it in a jar. Oh man, look at that solid. Oh my good gracious God. We're dealing with a probably, let's figure this out. I don't know. I know when this fragrance was released, late 90s. It's a black band, so it's no older than 2005. But the most successful candle in the history of the world, right here, scented candle. It's weird to say that, and it's weird to even think that there is such a thing. But I had to have this. I had to have this, right? I needed a black band, a balsam and cedar in my collection. I just needed it. This will never be lit. This is simply just for display purposes. But I want to smell it and see if, kind of like the mistletoe, if this one has a problem aging as well. I have some older balsam and cedars, but I don't have a black band. Here we go. Are you guys ready? Balsam and cedar. It smells wonderful. Maybe 5. Let's increase it to 7% to be realistic. Maybe I'm detecting a 7%, some form of, again, you're smelling a little bit of an aging process happening here. But really, again, it's probably just the surface of the candle. No, nothing even close to the mistletoe. I wonder what's in that mistletoe candle that makes that happen. This is beautiful, super resinous and sweet. Pine needle, balsam, balsam fir needle, right? Actually, a little bit even more of the spruce needle, because this kind of reminds you of a little bit of that camping in the summertime. You have that dried terpene or sap, just to keep it simple, on the pine cones. This fragrance has stood the test of time, even though it's really not that old, but it has deserved its platform, or its, God, where are my words today? It's to me, it's deserved its place in history as the most successful candle, because smelling this, if this doesn't bring you to Christmas, I just don't know what will. I really don't. And what's funny is most of my childhood, I didn't even have real Christmas trees. I had a fake Christmas tree growing up, and it still reminds me of childhood. Balsam and cedar, whether you just despise pine, or you're just not into the coniferous thing, coniferous tree, pine tree, hemlock, balsam, resinous kind of candles, you got a super strong powerhouse. A contemporary, even today, I'll say this, if you buy balsam and fir today, and you burn it, it's a powerhouse. It will knock out the windows. That's my experience. If you burn the candle right. And I guess depending on where you are, like your environment, the time of the year, temperature, humidity, all those factors. Very cool. What are we guys saying here? Margaret K says, I think mistletoe Yankees, most authentic Christmas tree scent. Margaret K. That is the reason why I really love that candle. But let me ask you this. Have you smelled Christmas tree? I mean, I was very familiar with this candle. It's an older candle, Christmas tree, but it was a returning favorite last year. And it renewed my love. It rekindled my relationship with this candle, Christmas tree. Because not only does it smell like a real Christmas tree, it smells like Clark W. Griswold style. You just ripped it out of the ground. Are you familiar with Christmas tree candle? And if you're not, try to find it. Try to get your hands on it, because now as soon as I smelled it this year, I didn't stock up. When I say stocked up, I bought 3. One. We have Witch City Wicks products coming up. If anyone is interested in Witch City Wicks, and if you're not familiar with Witch City Wicks, don't tune a dial. If anything, listen up. Witch City Wicks, based out of Salem, Massachusetts. This is a company that, for me, is a perfect example. It's a shining example of what I hope is the future of the candle industry. And I'm not being silly here. I'm not being paid to say this. This is a non-sponsored video. Witch City Wicks, the owner, Liz, has never paid me a dime to say anything I've ever said about her candles. I support her because as much as I love Yankee Candles, as much as I love, even though I don't talk about Bath and Body Works, I love Bath and Body Works candles. I honestly, I don't think I've ever smelled one that I didn't like, honestly. Goose Creek, Village Candles, everything, all these other candles people were talking about. I just smelled my first Homeworks candle. Anthony from Candle Cafe sent me ooey gooey caramel, salted caramel. It blew my mind. Just because I don't review them doesn't mean I don't love them. But my passion lies in, I really want to help out these small candle companies. And if you haven't seen my collaboration with Anthony from Candle Cafe, go to his channel, watch his video. I sent him a mystery box. He sent me one too, but I sent him a mystery box. And I sent him a candle from a small, very modest candle company called Scent Pop Candle Company. It was a blueberry crumble, blueberry muffin, blueberry butter and vanilla, blueberry butter and vanilla and sugar themed Cinderella candle, out of all things in the world. And I think his expression says it all. I want us to not only be purchasing from these big companies, but I think there's something very romantic, I said it, romantic, about the idea of purchasing candles more as if you were collecting and supporting musicians, right? Like you know, there's that new band in town, and you want to support them, and you buy their CD because their music is so original, or it's right down your alley. It speaks to you in a certain way. Small candle companies, I really want to see the growth of this industry because it is an art form. When we talk about a Yankee Candle, it takes about, they say, 2 years to design a fragrance. You have to think about all of the many people that go into, from beginning to end, making that fragrance happen. All of the conferences, all of the boardroom meetings, all of the trial and error, all of the manufacturing trials and errors. But then when you think of a small company like Witch City Wicks, based in Salem, Massachusetts, everything from the conception to the recipe design to the label design down to the shipping is done by one person. And that person being Liz Fraser, who is one of the biggest sweethearts you'll ever meet. And she's got a little storefront in Salem, Massachusetts, and she makes some of the most thought-provoking candles in the world. Now this was not shipped from Liz. This was shipped from a fan. I'll leave it at Jeff. I don't want to give off your full name. I don't know if you want to shout out. but he recently sent me some Witch City Wicks stuff, and he just buys everything in bulk. He kind of explained it to me. He's like, if I'm gonna buy one candle, I'm gonna buy each. And he saw that I got such a kick out of it. Cool. Look at that. We have matches. I use all this swag. I send it to you guys. You know, whenever like subscription boxes, or if you purchase something on eBay from me, I load up the box sometimes with little extra goodies, little small business cards. Very cool. We have, look at this, we have Liz's old card, or new card, and then we have a bunch of her old ones. I think this is a testament to how many times he's ordered from Witch City Wicks, because she only sends one per shipment. And look at this. Doug from Spooky Villages said he was going to put one of these on one of his electric guitars. I think that's a fantastic idea. And yeah, look at the aesthetic. All right, so a lot of swag. There's no question Witch City Wicks, she knows what she's doing when it comes to swag. But what about the candles? I'm hoping for candles that I do not have. Now, Liz is sending me all of her brand new Halloween candles with brand new label artwork this year for evaluation. We will have a promo code, an exclusive Candle Enthusiast promo code. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna wait for the optimal moment for that. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. I do not have this in a full jar. This is gonna be Wolf Moon. Look at these boxes. I know a lot of you guys are familiar, but Wolf Moon is, whew, man, this is a wolfy monster. It really is. I mean, this is like, I mean, it feels like you're riding on the back of like a werewolf through that black forest. It smells masculine, it smells musky, it smells earthy, it smells, you know, you get those florals and herbs that you find in masculine fragrances. But Wolf Moon is in reference to the very first full moon in January. And I was gonna have a review done of this candle back in January, and Yankee Candle got in the way. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's sweet, it's musky, but it's bright, you know? This is what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about thought-provoking, I can look at this image and really sit here and start creating the story. What's going on? Why did she choose these fragrances? What did these fragrances remind me of? What memories can I incorporate? And you saw I quickly smelled it. That's all I need to smell it. There's no need to stick my nose in here for an elongated period of time. That's a beautiful candle, and if anything, it's underrated, because I don't think this particular candle gets talked about a lot in her collection. But Wolf Moon, it's a part of the House of Wax collection. It's not a Halloween, but it is a part of her House of Wax collection. Let me check out some of these. Nancy says she's going to be making it her birthday candle. Eric says, I love Wolf Moon. All Hallows Eve. Love this one. Says, I think is it Laura McNamara? Sorry that I'm getting your names all mixed up. I'm excited to see how the Halloween release, the Melting Witch City Wicks Poison Apple last year. I'm assuming you enjoyed that, Christina. Yeah, Poison Apple is awesome. Remember, there's Black Apple too, which is a little bit less of a spicy apple. Promo for Witch City Wicks. So happy, thank you. Says Laura McNamara, or maybe said Laura. Absolutely my pleasure, and it's Liz's pleasure as well. She's always wanting me to extend a thank you to you guys, because she has never experienced anything bad. If anything, she's so humbled and honored that people walk into her store and said that, like, oh, I found you through the Candle Enthusiast, or people send her an email or send her something through Instagram saying, you know, I saw Shane from the Candle Enthusiast talking about your candles, introduced me. She's such a sweetheart that, like I said, that I think she truly is humbled by how well, how kind all of you guys are to her, and how big of a support system you are for her. She's really grown in the past 3 years quite a bit, and I'm not saying that's because of the Candle Enthusiast, because of me, but she is growing, and really, she's not. It's not beyond her to accept. It's not beyond her to not care to get a nice compliment. So please, if you support Witch City Wicks, or you like Witch City Wicks products, even if you've never burned a candle but you're intrigued, or if you've seen my review on Sleepy Hollow, or if you've seen my evaluation on any of her candles, or if you saw the video of me visiting her shop, go to her Instagram, say hi, say I found you from the Candle Enthusiast. That always helps because she knows that you're coming from here, which means more likely she'll give us promo codes. But let's keep going. But like I said, go spread the kindness, spread the love, let her know that you care, people. And speaking of Black Apple, bam, bam. Now she has a whole line called, is it just called the Black line? Black? It might have another name, but there's like there's black lavender, there's black leather. Help me out, guys. But there's also Black Apple, different tumbler, and that looks like wax on top, but it's not. It's got this little Witch City Wicks branding cap on top with that jet black soy wax, 100% soy wax in there. That I'm telling you, we're sitting here, we're just into July, and I feel like I'm in a farm market in the Hudson Valley picking apples. This is Macintosh all of the way. Look, if you like Yankee Candle's Macintosh, but you really want to just amp it up a little bit, and you want to actually spend a little bit less money, support Witch City Wicks. Check out Black Apple. I thought this was sold out. Go to our website, see if it's sold out. It may be. Remember, this is not coming from Liz. This is coming from a fan who donated these candles to the channel. So I don't know if this is still available, but if it is, and if you like, to me, this is straight up very, very authentic, intense Macintosh. If that intrigues you, Black Apple, baby. But if you would like a little bit more of a spiced apple, wait for the poison apple that comes out in Halloween. Nancy says, Black Apple's my next autumn purchase. I love apple scents. I want to smell the absinthe candle. She makes me happy. Or I'm sorry, I can't read. I want to smell the absinthe candle she makes. It smells great. It smells great, and it's not I think everyone knows absinthe smells like black licorice. Up until 2007 in the United States, absinthe was illegal. Absinthe is like synonymous with Edgar Allan Poe and I almost said Nathaniel Hawthorne. I'm sure Nathaniel Hawthorne indulged a little bit. But I meant to say Hemingway, Ernest Hemingway, and it was illegal because they thought it was hallucinogenic, and really there's nothing to support that. The wormwood, well, I mean, I'll let you guys come with your own conclusion. It's not illegal now, and the point is you can buy craft, really high quality absinthe, people who take it very seriously. Very pleasant, herbaceous, yes, black licorice, but it's not just a black licorice candle. And good gracious, We have another black candle. This one, Black Christmas. I didn't even know this one existed. I think I did, but I forgot. I forgot. Black Christmas. And check this out. Liz fully admitted to me that whenever she has an opportunity to use glitter, she goes for it. And this is one of the scenarios. She used glitter on this Christmas candle. So black tumbler, we got Black Christmas, but what does it smell like? Cinnamon bun, frosting, cinnamon sugar, pastry, a little bit of orange zest, definitely some ginger and clove, but really getting like a yeast, like a, not yeasty, but like a doughy TJ cinnamon bun or a Cinnabon. Did you guys see my Cinnabon video? I know Eric did. This is a very savory, sweet, and spicy candle. I like this. I mean, this is something where, like, give me a glass, a mug of coffee, a mug of tea, put this by the burning fire. I like it. I like it a lot. It walks that line of I want to eat it and like home for the holidays, where it's not really something you think about eating, but it's kind of like that classic potpourri profile. It's like you're eating, it's like you dropped a Cinnabon into your potpourri or steeping spices. I just dropped it. And you picked it up and you still ate it. That's probably a horrible description. I know it's a horrible description. But this is a really nice candle. And I'm kind of like bummed out that I did not include this, because I did a whole Christmas, Witch City Wicks Christmas, 2 videos, 2 parts. Check those videos out. And I did not include this one. And there's a lot to talk about in this one. Because there's maybe a little nog in there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a little nog, a little eggnog, but not in a crazy amount. But some kind of dairiness. That is a very good candle. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the black collection. Wait a minute. Now I'm confused. Black Wolf Moon? All right, so now, Nancy, I won't eat the wax, I promise. But somebody help me out here. What is going on? This says Black Wolf Moon. Is this just Wolf Moon in a different vessel? Let's find out. This is crazy. So we have the classic tumbler. Yeah, that's what this is. And Nikki just confirmed. You knew that. I didn't know this. So this is the Wolf Moon fragrance in a different format. It comes in this reusable, very opaque black tumbler. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. So she's actually utilizing. Why didn't I know this? Why didn't I know this? And I'm back on. I should be putting the lids back on. So Wolf Moon, again, I've already praised that candle. I'll put these lids back on iPod. Give me 1 second. We got more, folks. There's more goodness. Has anyone purchased Nightfall yet? I have it. It's going out to the subscription box members. Remember, this month was Halloween in July. that is going out soon. This is just not fitting. What is happening here? All right, I'm just gonna skip that for now. This is so strange. It looks like there was 3 lids on this wolf moon. Instead of just 1, there was 3, which is good, because I like lids. That's the only problem. These black collections, these are great for burn now. All right. Oh, another pin, another pin. So Jeff, if you're listening, thank you for the contributions. We got to do some Witch City Wicks giveaways now, because we have so many, and I need to really get my butt to work and start evaluating like every single Witch City Wicks candle. Wonder when she releases fall and Halloween fragrances. It'll be in August, but I think like if last year was an example of what usually happens, she does an initial release, they sell out like overnight, and then later on, a couple weeks later, she'll have everything restocked. So when they first go up for sale, like if you want to get them, like get a head start and get them early, you have to be like ready the night they get posted. I will make sure I keep you guys posted on that information. But a good way to keep in the loop with that is to join the Candle Enthusiast fan group on Facebook. How many times have I said that? That's how you're gonna stay in the know. I don't know what to do with all these peanuts. Salem. I certainly have plenty of these, but you know what's cool? I don't have a box. I have 2 Salem candles, but I don't have a box. Salem is a staple. I sent this one to Anthony from Candle Cafe. He seemed to really enjoy it. Yeah, look at that puppy right there. Liz admits the hardest, as minimalistic as this label is, she said this was the hardest label to finalize. She's not about like stuffing a whole bunch of stuff on there. She wants to perfect each little kind of detail. And she can go on and tell you stories about the conception of this label, as simple as it looks, but it is very elegant and beautiful. But this is a staple of her collection. It's called Salem, but its nickname is the nickname is October Forever. So maybe that'll help you understand a little bit more of what this smells like. She describes it as taking that autumn stroll through Salem, through the forest, through the woods, through the cemeteries, smelling the trees, you're smelling the forest floor, you're smelling the fruit that is in season, that time of the year, some berries and juice. Oh, wow. It's fruity, it's creamy, and it has a wonderful soft bass note. You get that sense of autumn leaves. I'm sorry, but this is what's happened. This is what Liz has done to me. This smell has become synonymous in my head to Salem. When I smell this, I think I'm in Salem. It brings me to Salem. So if you want a candle that can transport you to Salem, Massachusetts, any time of the year, trust me, this one can do it. It's so funny how when I smell this, the power of aromatics, I'm telling you, don't ever take it for granted. I throw out this quote, I use it every so often, but aroma is forever bound to our memories, and we can't forget that. And if you tuned into my live last year, last week, this was the candle that I burned in honor of my late family dog, my brother's dog Zero. I burned this down at the wharf for her. So when I said that I kind of had a little personal, just me and my camera, had a little ceremony for our very loved dog who passed away last year, Zero. This was the candle that I burned for her. And so again, this candle, very kind of like Angel's Wings in Mary Tyler Moore, this candle always remind me of that very special moment of kind of just celebrating Zero. She was such a character, such a character. She's very much missed. Sorry, Elsa, don't mean to make you jealous. Don't mean to make you jealous. But Salem, that's a great place to start. If you haven't purchased a Witch City Wicks candle ever, a great place to start is Salem. Christmas morning. Okay, so I did review this candle in my Witch City Wicks Christmas video. Pay attention to that spelling. If you can't read it, it's got a U in there. So Christmas morning, as in mourning of a loved one. Beautiful label. Come on now, check that out. And I don't even need to smell. This is just an icy blast. An icy blast and pine needle, pine tree, concentrated experience. This is Witch City Wicks, equivalent to, like, say, Yankee Candle's mistletoe, right? This is something that aggressive, concentrated pine needle, coniferous tree, that feeling like you're trying to water your Christmas tree, so you're digging down low to try to get the water into the bucket to feed your Christmas tree, and you're down by all those dried pine needles, those dead pine needles. Christmas morning, perfect image in your head, dead Christmas tree and Christmas morning by Witch City Wicks. Again, morning, M-O-U-R. Very fun, and slightly sarcastic candle for the holiday season. I love it. Church. This is another underestimated one. Okay, so church, I think a lot of people would assume that this is frankincense and myrrh, because if you've spent any time in many different kinds of churches, not just Christian churches, frankincense and myrrh, the two resins that are commonly burned, like the incense, especially during the Christmas season. Remember the three wise men, little Christian school history here. The three wise men, what did they bring to little baby Jesus? They brought the gold, they brought the myrrh, they brought the frankincense. So frankincense and myrrh is commonly burned in incense form in churches. However, there's a twist that needs to be mentioned. A lot of people really oppose the smell of frankincense and myrrh, the incense. Why? Because it's being burned. It's not just the resins that you smell, it's the smoke. Like my mother, for example, she cannot stand frankincense and myrrh when I say it. But she knows frankincense and myrrh in its incense form when it's being burned. Look at that label. Good God. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying good God when talking about a church candle, but and there's nothing offensive about this candle. This is to me, this is a kind of a beautiful candle. If you, like me, I love visiting churches and temple, all different kinds. I love going into old cathedrals and looking at the artwork and smelling the old building and hearing about the history. What's the twist behind this candle is that it doesn't smell like the smoke. It doesn't smell like expired frankincense and myrrh. It doesn't smell like frankincense and myrrh that's being, you know, wafted, the smoke like this. This is just straight up frankincense and myrrh before it's set ablaze, which is a very bright, woody, smoky, dusty, and deep smell. Oh my God, this candle is so, everybody should have this candle, and everyone should make a candle like this. It smells like that church, but again, there's nothing smoky here. There's nothing old here, you know? I mean, if there's anything old, maybe it's the wood note that you would pick up naturally on frankincense. Frankincense is very bright. It has a lemon overtone, but the undertones are more of like a fresh pine wood smell. But really, this is just fruity. That myrrh in there is adding to the deeper. Ooh, lost you guys there for a second, but I think we're back. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about losing you, but reading your comments here, Heart Queen says, has a powdery scent. I would agree with that completely, but not unpleasant. Yeah, powdery gets a bad rap. Powdery is not bad at all in a lot of cases. I just don't think people like the smell of baby powder or talcum powder. Laura C says, I loved church and it was strong and it had great throw for such a little candle. I can confirm that. Visiting Salem is on my bucket list, says Violet Moon. Make sure you do visit one day, Violet Moon. Really. But go in the off season. Like, I went right before Christmas visiting a friend, and I had the whole, I mean, everything was closed. All the tourist things were closed, but it was definitely a very fun, almost ominous experience. Very like bluish light was shining from the sky. It was very ominous, but it was so much fun. Eric says, I like to think that mourning in existential dread sense rather than the death of a loved one. Maybe, there you go. My first Salem is on its way. I can't wait, says Nancy. Oddly, that is the only one of hers I have never had. I'm reading these in backwards order. It is never in stock when I order. I'm guessing Eric is talking about Christmas morning. Yeah, the Christmas candles are only going to be available. Same thing with the Valentine's Day candles, seasonally. So keep that in mind at all times. This is great. I have all these large candles to evaluate now, because I was going to evaluate a lot of these in the little travel tins. And it's always better for the video and a little bit easier for me to evaluate them in these jars. So I got Liz's permission to use the descriptor I want on this candle. I was always afraid to use the descriptor I wanted to use for this candle called Bite Me. But she gave me permission, and she agreed with me. This is like, if there is such a thing, start with, I can smell it already. It smells like Hawaiian Punch. But once you get past Hawaiian Punch, just consider that, forget about, you know, Hawaiian Punch in the juice. Think of high quality fruit punch. Whoa, good. Good, that wasn't a word. And who just said that? It says, love Love bite me, says Laura. She says, love bite me, which sounds like another name of a candle. Love bite me. I'd buy a candle called Love Bite Me, but I think she meant to say, I love the candle bite me. Yeah, I mean, this is, yeah, it looks like I'm breaking up a little bit, says Hard Queen, but we're going to wrap this up any moment now. But I do have a few last things to say. But if you really want that fruit cocktail explosion, Bite Me is the way to go with Witch City Wicks. We'll be talking a lot more with Witch City Wicks. We'll be visiting with Liz in the coming weeks. Really, we're gonna be seeing her. We're gonna be collaborating a few times. Hopefully, doing some really fun things. And 100%, we're having a promo code. So that is going to be it for Smell It Sunday. I just want to run by a few things that I always have to do. Very important. Make sure that you spend a little bit of time in the description below. Look around. There's a lot of links. There's a lot of kind of things to check out. The one being the Facebook fan group. Patreon.com is a way that you can help support the channel. This is not money in my pocket. Excuse me for being so repetitive for those of you who I'm always saying this to, but I have to say this. To keep this show going and to not throw in the towel, it needs to be self-funded. The show needs to fund itself. In order to do that, Patreon and folks, donating stuff like this is not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for if you can, out of the kindness of your heart, if you have $1 a month, $1 to throw into the cause so we can visit places like Salem. I talked to the owners of the Lizzie Borden bed and breakfast yesterday. And hopefully we might be able to work something out because they just purchased Maplecroft. Maplecroft is a mansion. It's a huge house. It's the house that Lizzie Borden moved to after she was acquitted for the murders at the original house. So this would be a great follow-up video. But in order to be able to pull off all of these travels, all of the Christmas festivities, all of the festivals, of course, we have to consider the production costs, all of those things. In order to make this show happen, to keep us on the road, this is kind of our off season. We sit down, we talk a lot about candles, but you know how it works. When late summer comes around, autumn comes around, Halloween comes around, Christmas comes around, we're constantly on the road. So if you can, I'm not asking for it, but if you can chip in $1, $2, $3 a month, that's what Patreon is for. So make sure you check out that page, and there's rewards. You get stuff in return, right? There's subscription boxes. I can send you a postcard. But know that just watching, just tuning in, you're supporting the channel. All I can ever ask for. If you watch, that's all I can ever ask for. So also eBay page, make sure you check that out. We have like I said, one of the very first Witches Brews coming up. I'm gonna list that auction very soon. I have a feeling Mark Smith wants to get his hands on that. If you're listening, Mark. And what else? Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow me, candle.enthusiast. Follow Elsa, Queen of the Snowflakes. Twitter, don't worry about Twitter. I don't think any of us communicate via Twitter, although Laura does. I know that. What else? What else is in the bottom here? If you go to the main channel, you'll also see a list of all the fragrances that are coming out from Yankee Candle for the rest of the year. The Elevation collection, a lot of people have been asking about that. It's a brand new vessel, a brand new line by Yankee Candle. They're releasing 16 fragrances this year. different size candles, multi wicks, soy blends. I most likely will not be evaluating any of those. Bye, Travis. He's got to head out. Thank you for joining today. I'm not going to be evaluating any of those because really, there's so many other people that I can recommend. There's Philly Candleman. There's Doug. There's folks that, well, of course, Anthony. So many folks out there. That I'm not even on the up and up with all of the reviewers on YouTube because unfortunately I really don't have, it's not that I don't have the time. I don't ever want to be stealing their shtick, so I don't watch a lot of the videos. But I'm sure you guys have a lot of other people that you watch other than me, so let them review those candles. But I will be having a Christmas in July video at the end of the month, which I will be announcing and showing all of the new Christmas fragrances. Maybe not all of them, but a large chunk of them, and I will be sharing my thoughts on those and doing pulling out some old Yankee Candle fragrances, some elusive ones. Probably picking like my top 10. I did that last year. Maybe I'll pick like another top 10 or 10 underrated Yankee Candle Christmas fragrances, something fun like that. That's it. If you haven't had a chance to participate in the giveaway, go to the main channel, The Candle Enthusiast. If you haven't subscribed to either channel, make sure you do that. If you haven't given this video a thumbs up, let's do that now before you take off. Thank you for joining. Sometimes I go on these sentimental closings, and I'm not gonna do that, but I just want to remind everybody that it's just, I really have experienced virtually nothing but kindness. We're into our third year of the Candle Enthusiast. Before we know it, I'm gonna be back at South Deerfield doing my third Yankee Candle Halloween preview party video, and I got a lot of really fun stuff planned for that this year. And throughout all this time, there's so many of you with me who've been with me from the beginning, who are so kind, so gracious, throw so much positivity my way. No question, keep me motivated to keep going. But a lot of them for the first time, really also share about candles and everything nostalgia related and retro related. We're going to expand, we're going to grow together. I just want to thank you for sticking with me and being a part of this bubble of positivity. And positivity is just, it seems to be the word of the month. And certainly what you guys are. A lot of fun stuff coming up, guys. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I'm getting back to answering comments on all the videos. It was difficult for me to do that for a while. The office will be done soon, and that is it. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Smell It Sunday. I will be seeing you folks soon. Thank you. I see all you guys waving goodbye. Thank you for joining. And I really do appreciate it. Love you guys. Be good and have a wonderful Sunday night. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.